Yeah. So in our previous session, we have discussed about what is cloud computing and need for cloud computing and what is AWS. We have just seen what is the overview of AWS and we have seen the global infrastructure, how AWS has been there and what are the regions in AWS and what is availability zones. So then we have seen some networking concepts like IP addressing. So what is IP address, IPv4 and what is IPv6 and subnet masking. So how do we define the IPv4 address range? So let me give a quick recap of IPv4 address. Mm, yeah. So as discussed in previous session, public IP addresses are into 5 classes. So now class A, class B and class C are the ones which we are going to use. Class D and class E, as I told, it is reserved for future use and some research and military purposes they are going to. So we no need to worry about class D and class E. So now under public IP address ranges, we have 3 classes. Class A, which is ranging from 1.0.0 to 126.255.255.254. So in class A, around 16 million hosts are being supported. And in class B, around from 128 to 191. This is the range. And in class C, 192 to 223.255. So this is the range what we have. So these are the different IP address ranges in for public address. So to exhaust these IP addresses, we don't need much time because as we already told an example, right? So in my home itself, I'm using 20 devices. Like this, there are billions of devices which are connected for internet. So every device which is connected to internet must and should require IP address. So to exhaust these ranges, in a very short span of time it can be done. So that what they have designed, so they have designed a private IP address ranges. So here also we have 3 classes: class A, class B, and class C. Under class A, you have the range from 10.0.0.2, so 10.255.255.255. So similarly, class B and class C ranges we have this. So what is the advantage of this private IP ranges as we discussed in earlier session? So any organization can create this range of IP addresses. So here, say for example, I quoted an example. Infosys can create around 16 million hosts. Similarly, Wipro, like TCS, so any company can create. So these addresses will be private to their network. When you come to public, you will have only single address. So remaining addresses will be with respect to private range only. So we will see how to create that in our virtual private network today. And as I told, say for example, you have an IP address 10.1.0.100 slash of 16. So let's say if you're giving a range like this. So when you say 10.1, so it is 255. So everything is a 8-bit, like 30, as we told, IPv4 is a 32-bit. So it is 8-bit, and after dot, second dot address is 8-bit, third dot address is 8-bit, and fourth dot is 8-bit. So let's say when you're specifying your VPC range like 10.1.0.0 of 16, so you'll be able to create around 65,535 IP address. So this we have seen how you will be able to create. Like we have formula like 2 power 32 minus what is the net range, what is the subnet range what you are giving. The subnet range is nothing but after slash whatever you're providing is the subnet range. So uh, so when you are providing let's say you are giving an address like 10.1.0.100. Now you can create all these three will be constant. So now here you can create from 101 to 255. So only 150 IP addresses will be created. So if you're creating like 10.1.0.0 means, so here from 1 to 255 IP addresses you can create. But in this, around 3 IP addresses are reserved IP addresses. So they are, one is for, let's say, this reserved for network ID. and this is reserved for broadcast ID. Okay. So remaining 253 IP addresses you can use for that. But if you are using AWS, they will reserve 5 IP addresses in this. So almost you can use around 249 IP address here. So this is what IP address is. But to calculate subnet in a easy manner, there is subnet calculator. So what you can do is you can just click on subnet calculator. So what is the class here? So let's say if you take class A, it will start with 10.0.0. If you see class C, class B, it is 172, class C 192. So this is the range of IP addresses. So now let us say we want to create like this 10.1.0.0 and you are giving mask as 16. So totally we can create 65,534 IP addresses. So if you see our previous examples, yeah. So 2 power 16 is 65,000. So as I told, 2 power 15. So if you select a subnet mask of 24, around 256, 254 IP address you can create. Like that, you can select, it will start from 8 to 32, 30. So if you select, whenever you select this range, like net mask range, if this net mask range is decreasing, your IP address range will increase. And if this net mask range is increasing, your IP address count will decrease. You can see, you can observe that here. So when you select 8, so you have more possible IP addresses you can create within this particular range. So when you are selecting like 24, around 254 IP address. So when you're selecting more than that, IP addresses range are 14. So this is how you can calculate your IP addresses and IPv4 ranges within subnet. So questions, guys, before we start today's session will be on VPC. What is the need for creating a virtual private cloud, and what is public cloud and private cloud we will discuss, and then we will start creating VPC in AWS console. So before that, let me open for questions.
Harish, you talked about those bit mask 24, 28. So those are the. So how do you mask 28 bits there?
Sailesh, I guess you missed out yesterday's session, so
Oh yeah.
you can go through the video. If you still have questions, I can answer that.
Okay.
Questions, guys.
So, Harish, whatever Sailesh asked, even I didn't join yesterday's class. So, will that take a lot of time, or if it is a quick one, you can just touch base it at high level?
No, Ravi. Yesterday we had around 1 hour 50-minute session. So I'll be sharing the recording. You can go through that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Then move on.
Okay. So today's session we'll be discussing about VPC. Okay. So before VPC, so as we know, right? If you see, if you consider Ohio region, like US East, availability zone is region is Ohio region, and we have 3 availability zones. So let me do a quick diagram for that. Let's say this is our region. And we have 3 availability zones. So zone 1, zone A, zone B, and zone C. Okay. as I told, right, all these zones will be interconnected to each other. So this zone will be connected, all the network will be connected to each other. So if you are creating a server in this zone A, you will be able to access the, if you are having a server in zone B, they both can be, they both will be interrelated. So you don't need a specific, requirement to connect the both. So because all the availability zones will be interconnected to region, AWS region. So now let's say, let me show you AWS APAC Mumbai region. AWS has around 1 lakh customers. Like uh, the search term is like, so you all, so actually it is around 1 lakh customers. So this is some old data which is picked up from documents. So you have around 75,000 active AWS customers in India. So when all the availability zones are interconnected to each other, let's say zone A and zone B or zone C, availability zones are data centers, you can call anything. So when these data centers are connected to each other internally, if you are allowing every customer to come and create their servers here or their network devices here, let's say this is customer A coming, which is related to Infosys, then a customer B related to Wipro. So those two are the organizations which are in same domain, providing the same set of services, right? They are competitors to each other. Now they might have, the vulnerability to get into the each other missions. Of course, you will have securities, passwords, and other things, but still it is very tricky, right? When you're providing the same data center without any division of thing, you are providing all the customers. If you are providing the specific region, it will be difficult. So for what problem you will have? So first problem will be the security problem. Now the second problem is, as we discussed, right? So we are creating private addresses to maintain the IP address, right? So these private addresses are many. Say when your many customers are coming and creating under same data center, the private IP addresses also will get exhausted. So IP address overlapping was the second issue. Third one is, it will be difficult even for AWS if they allow in a single data center without any technical division between each customers. If they are allowing everyone to come and create the servers in within a specific data center, then for them even the maintenance will be difficult. Correct. So these are some of the issues which they identified before creating VPC, Virtual Private Cloud. VPC stands for Virtual Private Cloud. So before that, let's see what is public cloud. So public cloud is nothing but, best example is AWS. So they provide the cloud is open for everyone. So it is open for everyone. Anyone can come create their servers. They can access the deploy their applications and use. Example AWS, Azure, like that. Now something called private cloud is there. So private cloud is this is restricted, or for example owned by a company, owned by a specific company within the company limits or ranges. So virtual private cloud is nothing but a private cloud which you create for your own company. Now what AWS is telling is, let's say instead of giving all the customers a single data center, let me remove this. So AWS is allowing every customer to create a virtual private cloud. So you can create a virtual private cloud across availability zones. So your VPC is when you create VPC, by default, you can select a region. So we are selecting Ohio region. So under Ohio region, when you select virtual private cloud, this cloud is spanned across all the availability zones. Now you can name this as I'll name as August 1st batch, August 1st VPC. So now you have created VPC. So each now custom Infosys will not overlap with Wipro. Wipro will not overlap to Infosys. Similarly, let's create one more VPC. So let us name this as Wipro, and this is for Infi. So now we have partitioned customers. So now each and every customer will have their own network. So inside customer network, they can create their servers, they can create their network load balancers, whatever they want, they can do inside their own network. No collisions between different customers within a data centers. So now what is next thing is, so here we have 3 availability zones, right? So you, after creating a VPC, you will create a subnet. So let us make a note here. After creating this one, we should create lab as well. Lab is first create a VPC with some name. So let us give us August 1st VPC. In Ohio region. Second is create subnet. This subnet. So the subnet we can create in different availability zones. So the subnet is nothing but a logical partition of IP addresses. Now let's say in private IP addresses, you have 3 classes, right? Class A, class B, and class C. So class A, you have, this is IP address range. Now you have 16 million IP addresses which can be created in availability zone, 3 availability zones. Now, so what we will do is we'll create 3 subnets, one in availability zone A, one in zone B, and one in zone C. So that if one subnet is get failed due to some technical issue or network issue or natural calamities, anything, the another you can use your applications and in your servers in a different subnets. So subnets is nothing but a logical partition of IP addresses. Now let us create a subnet here. Create a subnet. And while creating VPC, you should specify the IPv4 range, right? So now let us give 10.1.0.0 of 16. Now, what does this say? So this, as per this calculator, subnet calculator, sorry. Yeah, as per the subnet calculator, you can create, when I select 16, we can create around 65,534 IP addresses, correct? So that is what we are going to create here.
Harish, you cannot see the
We lost
browser.
the screen sharing.
Okay, so just give me a sec, guys. So can you see the screen now?
Yeah, Harish.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, Harish.
So I was showing this VPC. So VPC, your IPv4 range should be 10.1.0.16. So this 16 is nothing but when 65,534 IP addresses can be created under this VPC. Now you need to create a subnet. So let us create the subnet, one subnet in zone A, one subnet in zone B, and one subnet in zone C. Okay. So this subnet IPv4, this should be 10.1. Let me give as 1 on 0 of 24. 24 means so this 3 will be constant. So in VPC, what will happen? So this 2 will be constant. You cannot change this 2. Here you might change to 1 to 255 IP address, and here also you can change 1 to 255 IP address. So when I'm creating a subnet, what I'm doing in subnet 1, I am giving a range like this: 10.1.1.0. So means around of 24. 24 means you can create around 254 IP address. So correct. So this I will create in zone A, availability zone A, or I can call this as subnets. US East 2A. Similarly, I will create one more subnet here and one more subnet here. So let me give this as 2, let me give this as 3, and this I'll create in 2B, this I'll create in 2C. So one subnet I'll create in zone A, one subnet in zone B, and one subnet in zone C. So let me draw that here. So this is subnet 1 and subnet 2 and subnet 3. Subnet. So we have the external internet here, and we have internet gateway. Let us, so because we need to communicate, right? So if this is external internet, so through external internet you'll communicate to internet gateway. From internet gateway you will communicate with subnet. So to communicate that, you need to have root table. Okay. Third one is, so after creating subnet, you need to create root table. So this is the lab, guys, which we are going to do exactly like this is the diagram what we are discussing, right? So we will be creating a VPC. Under that VPC, we are going to create 3 subnets, and with these subnets, we will have internet gateway and we will have external internet. So this is nothing but external internet. So so these 3 subnets should communicate with each other, right? So this to this one and this to this one, and any of the subnet, this is private subnet now if they want to communicate with external, you need an internet gateway. So we will be creating internet gateway as well. So before creating internet, so let us create first internet gateway here. So now after creating internet gateway, so you need to associate these subnets with a root. I will tell you what is root and root table. So create root table. Create root table. So this root table and associate internal and external traffic. Let me say local traffic, local and external traffic with subnets. Yeah. So let us quote an example. So if I leave you in a mall, shopping mall, a big shopping mall, so you are in between. So there are no one to help you, and there are no signboards. Then you need to struggle, right? You need to struggle how to come out of this shopping mall. Similarly, so when you're creating instances, EC2 instances, so you need to tell how the external traffic should go to this instance under which route. Either you should go through internet gateway, or you should go to from public to private network, or private to private network. Like this, you should tell how you should go. So for that, what we can do is we need to create a root table. So root table is the internet gateway is there. Then we need to create a security groups. See, the security group is nothing but firewall, guys. So we will have a different separate session on security groups and network ACLs. So then I will discuss in detail. For now, what we do is create security groups, allow all traffic. But in real time, you will not allow all traffic. You must allow only the traffic which you should, your organization or which you want to be getting allowed into the application or to the systems. So for now, for the lab purpose, you just allow all traffic. We will have a security session after 2 days from now. So then I will discuss in detail about security groups and firewalls. Now let us create this lab in our AWS console. So then again, if any queries, I will take up. Okay. So once you log into console, so you can either you can search here for VPC, or you can go under networking and content delivery. Under networking, you will have a VPC. Click on that. So this is your VPC dashboard. So click on your VPCs. So currently I have 3 VPCs which I created. And at max, for one AWS account, you can create 5 VPC. Either it is a free tier account or a paid account, you can create 5 VPC. But you have a specific requirement to create more than 5 VPCs. You need to get in touch with AWS supporting so that they can increase this. Now let us create a VPC with the name we will give as August.
Harish, sorry. Can you just show it again? Because in my console, I couldn't find the option that you selected to go for that option, to create VPC. Do I need to search that create VPC in that AWS services search box?
No, hold on. So once you create a VPC, you will get VPC console here, VPC dashboard.
I just logged into my console.
No, hold on. Silesh, 2 things. So one is you cannot do the lab when I'm explaining the session. You just try to observe the session, make a notes if required. So after the session, you try to create the lab. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So you cannot do both the things parallelly. So create your VPCs, click on your VPCs, then create a VPC, give the name. Let us create as August 1st VPC. And what is the IP address range we want to give here? So this is the IPv4 range. So yesterday we had a session, right, on networking and IP address. All that is because when you are creating these VPCs, you must understand what is this particular range, why you are giving this /16. That's the reason I explained how many classes of public IP addresses will be there, private IP addresses will be there, how to do that. So now IPv6 you can ignore, guys. You know, if you want, you can click on IPv4. Amazon will directly auto assign some IPv6 address. If you want, you can select this, or you can just ignore IPv6. We are not going to use IPv6. So let me select as Amazon one. And tenancy means so default means say for example, you will have multi-tenant and single-tenant environments. So when you select default, so in a single server, let me show here. So this is your data center. Let's assume this is your data center. In your data center, you will have AWS racks, for example, like this. So this is one rack. One rack will have multiple servers. So this is one server, this one server, this one server, and this one server. So you'll also have here top of the rack switch. So this one server, right? Server 1, server 2, server 3. So when you say default, so this one server, we don't know what is this server size exactly. It might be too much of size. This server, they will break the server into multiple PCs. I mean multiple small servers, and each server they will give you in this default one. When you say dedicated, they will give you a dedicated server which is not shared with anyone. So that is what default and dedicated mean. So let me select default and create VPC. So you'll have a VPC ID when you create a VPC. So just close this one. So now you can see here August 1st VPC is created. Okay. Questions?
Harish.
Yeah. So now your VPC is created. Now point one in our lab is created, right? So this VPC is completed. So where we have created this VPC, so I in my account I have selected by default Ohio range. So this is the range. Here you can go and see in which region you have been selected. So by default, either you will be North Virginia or Ohio. Suppose if you want to be in Indian based availability zone or region, so you need to select APAC Mumbai. So if I go and select here APAC Mumbai, I will be not able to see any of these VPCs because in APAC Mumbai region, I have not created any VPC. I created a VPC in Ohio region. So if you see here, default VPC will be there. Okay, no other VPCs are there. So let me select back my region. See, when you are creating, AWS account, right? By default, you will have a VPC. So ignore that VPC because why? Because suppose if you are going to trying and launching an EC2 instance, right? So this default VPC will be used for the for that free tier accounts initially. So you create a new VPC. So once the VPC is created, what is the second thing? You need to create your subnets. So click on your subnets and click on create subnet. Give a name tag. So here, let me give a subnet one, subnet -1, and this is for August 1st batch, right? So let me give this as August 1st subnet 1. So this is my subnet name, and you need to select under which virtual private cloud you need to create. Now let us go to a diagram here. So you are creating the subnet, right? So this subnet you are creating under August 1st VPC 1. So you need to select that particular VPC. So I'm selecting August 1st VPC and availability zone. As I told, we have 3 availability zones in Ohio region: Zone A, Zone B, or Zone C. So you need to select one of the zone. So let me create subnet 1 in Zone 1, subnet 2 in Zone 2, and subnet 3 in Zone 3. Okay. Now here also you have IPv4 CIDR block range. So as we wrote in our lab notes, so this is the range what we are going to create. Means in every subnet I'll be able to create 254 IP addresses. So give it here. Okay. Now here one question, guys. So let's say you have specified your VPC range as 16. Now if you are giving your subnet range here as 16, yes, it will create. Once you create the subnet, then all the occupancy of this particular IP addresses will be created under one subnet only. Then you will be not able to create subnet 2 and subnet 3. Why? Because here at max, how many you can create here? 65,534 IP addresses you can create for this IP range. Now, even for the subnet, if you are giving the same IP range, then all the count 65,000 count, if it is occupied for a single subnet, you will be not able to create subnet 2 and subnet 3 in different availability zones. So that's the reason I'm reducing the count to create 256 IP address in this one, 256 in this, and 256 in different availability zones, so that if one of the availability zone is failed, I will be able to redirect my application to another different availability zones without any downtime. Clear?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I will not assign any IPv6 address. So when you create subnet, you will get a subnet ID. So then just close this one. So you can notice here, August 1, subnet 1 is created. So once you create subnet, just right click and enable your modify auto assign IP settings, guys, and just click on enable. So this is why, because when you're launching an EC2 instance, you should make sure IP address is visible. If you don't enable this option, you will not get IPv4 address. That's the reason we are enabling that. So even when you're creating VPC, right, select this VPC and click on enable DNS host names. So I will show you why we are enabling these both, because when you're launching EC2 instances or servers, any Windows servers, you should see your mission name. Say for example, this is my mission. So this is my host name. So like this host, you should be able to see the host name. So that's the reason we are enabling this DNS host names. Okay. So now let us create subnet 2 and subnet 3 here. Create subnet August 1, subnet 2. Select the VPC as August 1 VPC and availability zone. Now I'm creating this subnet in zone 2 or zone B. So I'm creating this second subnet here. And what is this IPv4 CID or range is 10.1.2.0 of 24. So create a subnet, you will have a subnet ID. So for this subnet also, enable auto assign IP address. So create subnet 3. August 1. Select your VPC as August 1st VPC and availability zone as 2C and IPv4 range is to the lab. Yep. So for this subnet also just enable your auto assign IP address. So now what we have done, so you also created your all the subnets, subnet 1, subnet 2 and subnet 3 in 3 different availability zones. Now what is the next thing we need to create? We need to create internet gateway, right? So what is the use of internet gateway means? So this will give you the external traffic into your private cloud, virtual private cloud, and from the cloud, say for example, you are creating a EC2 instance here and you are deploying a Java application, a VAR based application. So now you will have an URL right here. So for example, you have like paytm.com. So this Paytm is, let's say this is a Paytm company. So you are deploying a WAR file. So now this application should be exposed to external world for use, right? External is nothing but the Paytm users. So for that, internet gateway is a one which will allow the traffic from external to your subnets. So here you can see internet gateways. So click on internet gateways. Create an internet gateway. So you can give the name like, let me give August 1st, IGW. Yeah. So once you create internet gateway, you will have a gateway ID here. So just go to your, then you need to attach this internet gateway you have created, but you have not attached it to any VPC. So if you see here, this we have internet gateway and this is the VPC. We need to attach this internet gateway to the VPC. So what you can do for that, click on internet gateways. So this is the one, internet gateway. Select this internet gateway, click on actions, click on attach to VPC. Now here you select the VPC which you want to attach. So I'm attaching for August 1st VPC which we created just now. Click on attach internet gateway So now we have done this internet gateway connection as well. Now what is remaining? So we need to tell the traffic in which route it should go. So you need to create route tables. Click on route tables. So by default, you will have a route table, guys. When you are creating a VPC, right? So by default, you will have a route table created for that. So you can just ignore that. So let me show you the route table, default route table. So this is the route table which is created to VPC. This is the VPC ID, August 1st VPC. So you can ignore this route table. So leave as it is. You create a new route table because you must know, right, how to create a route table and use that. So create a route table. Route table, sorry, August 1st route table. Okay. Now you have your VPC here. So select your VPC as August 1st VPC and give a tag. Tag is nothing but the name of this route table. Let me give as main so that you will understand. So route ID is created. So if you create route table, nothing will happen, guys, because so it is something like you are in a shopping mall in between here. So now you can see the signboards. Signboards are there, but nothing is there in the signboards. No direction, no names are there. Means there is no usage of that, right? You just place a plain board. Now you need to tell which direction you need to go and what is the location. So after creating this route table, click on this route table. First thing you need to do is click on routes. You can see here 10.1.0.16 and it is target is local. Local is nothing but your private cloud. 10.1.0.16 is your virtual private cloud or private IP addresses. Now you are telling all the private IP addresses are a local traffic. Click on edit routes. Now this is fine. Say if you are creating a EC2 instance here, you will get an IP address like this. 10.1. This is subnet 1, right? So 1 and any address, like say for example 123 is the mission name. Or if you are creating EC2 instance here, you will get an IP address like this 10.1. This is subnet 2, so you'll get 2 and let's say 167. So this is your second EC2 instance. So let's say one more EC2 instance you are creating in subnet 3, 10.1. This subnet 3, so 3 and any name like IP address is 190. So now 3 missions are created here. So if you tell already the local, it is there, the target is local and the destination is you already specified 10.1.0.0.16 means the total VPC you have given means inside this VPC range, the total VPC range is this one which we provided 10.1.0.16. So this total VPC range you have specified means any local traffic, any private address you go locally means consider it as a private address. Now suppose if you want to communicate this one to external internet, then how do you specify? You need to do some routing, right? So you need to specify from this EC2 server, you go directly from here to internet gateway, and from internet gateway go to the external, and from external if you bring from something, say for example if you are pinging Google www.google.com, you are pinging, right? So the ping request will go here and go through internet gateway and go to the google.com. From there the response will come through internet gateway and come back to your particular EC2 server where you have pinged. Clear? So now click and add route. So what is your external address is 0.0.0.0/0. This is your external one, which you need to map. So here there are multiple gateways, right? And NAT gateways, there internet gateway, network interface, peering connection, transit gateways you have, virtual private gateway you have. So we will discuss all this NAT gateway. We will discuss all these ones in our next classes. So now, for now, we need to route our address through internet gateway. So select internet gateway. Now you have selected August 1st, we created, right? Just now we created August 1st internet gateway. So select that internet gateway and save routes. Means in this route table, what you are telling, boss, if any private IP address, I mean, if any private traffic is coming, treat it as local. But if any external address is coming, route it with internet gateway. Clear? Questions?
Yeah, Harish, route it with 00. I didn't get the last point. Can you come again?
See, any external traffic, if you want to go with except this private, right? If you want to communicate with private, you can use this 10.1 dot this one. Suppose if you want to go with external traffic, you must specify like this 0.0.0/0 means it will go through external gateway, external traffic.
You mean to say I have created one EC2 instance in one of the subnet,
Mm-hmm.
and from there, if I want to reach Google or Yahoo or like external world, like
Correct.
ping request or whatever, so you need to mention this.
Correct.
Okay.
So 0.0.0 means it specifies external communication, external network communication.
Or any specific IP also you can mention if you want any
Yeah,
specific
see,
IP.
all those you can you can configure in security groups. Like you can give a custom range even in external network. You can give a custom range only from this range to this range I need to connect of IP addresses, and also you can specify the port ranges as well. That we will see in our next classes. You
Okay.
will, yeah,
So this 00 means anything can be accessed from that instance.
right. For external traffic.
Yeah, yeah.
Harish,
Yeah,
Thermol here. Yeah, I have a question here.
yeah,
So here in the diagram, you can see three subnets is created, and you have created one internet gateway.
yeah.
From through through internet gateway, you are accessing various subnets, and it is navigating to the particular IP, right?
Yeah.
So,
So,
so my question is, like, I have a couple of questions here.
mhm.
So, is there any chance, like, suppose you can see in the diagram 10.1.1.123. So there might be a chance to create the same IP in the subnet 2 and the same IP in the subnet 3.
See, how can you create a same IP in subnet 2? Because your subnet 2 range is different, right? 10.1.2. Here you have changed your range to 2, but here your range will be 1. So you
Yeah,
cannot
one
create a
second.
same IP address.
Okay. So can we create with the same range in the other subnet, like 10.1.0.0 /16, and in the same thing in third subnet?
No, see, when you say, let me go here. So when you are saying here, so you want to create with the same range
Yeah,
inside this subnet, right?
subnet 2B. Yeah, is 2B.
Subnet 2. So you already specified this range, means under this VPC, you already utilize this range in subnet 1. How can you utilize the same, again, same range of IP addresses in subnet 2? It is not possible.
So in
So
this case, it will
what does
trigger
this
any
mean?
error message or
Yeah, it will trigger the error message. So I can show you that. Uh,
okay.
so let us go and see. You can not only 3, you can create any number of subnets. I guess you
Okay.
can create around 200 subnets. Okay, per
Okay.
VPC 200 is the limit. So
Okay.
let me give as August 1st VPC, sorry, subnet 4. Select a VPC and availability zone. Let me give some zone and 10 dot, let's say 1.2.0 of 24. So this one we have already created, right? So when you try to create, so it says an error. CIDR address overlaps with existing subnets. Means already you have utilized this range. The IPv4 range you have utilized already. So then again you cannot create that. Okay. So if
Okay.
you want to create, let's say you can give 4. So this range is not utilized because up to 3 only we have utilized. So this is the 4th range. So you can utilize here. Clear?
Okay, Hari. So based on the error message, we have to increment the writer clause, maybe 4 to 5 or 5 to 6. So make sure that it is not assigned to any subnet.
Yeah, correct. So if you see here, so in your VPC, you have given 16 means total 65,000 only can create. You can create 200 subnets. In 200 subnets, the IP address range will be 65,000. So 65,000 divided by 200, whatever the answer, that many IP addresses you can create for per subnet.
Okay.
Okay.
Got it.
So questions? Guys, today's session is very important because today's session is more related to setting up your lab. Means this is the core of your lab, like your VPCs, your subnets, your route tables, your internet gateways and all. So next 2-3 days we will be discussing about the virtual private cloud only. So in our next session we will see how to create key pairs and the EC2 instance. So key pairs is not part of VPC, but still you need to create EC2 instance, right? To check, let's say we will create one mission here in this subnet and one mission in subnet 2. So we will see whether both the missions or whatever the setup we have done is valid setup or not. So to see that, we need to launch EC2 instances. So key pair, I will cover key pair in VPC only instead of EC2. So after that, we will have egress only internet gateways, and we have some endpoint and endpoint services. Then NAT gateways. NAT gateways is a bit bigger topic. Here under NAT gateways, we will discuss about public subnet and private subnet. So here we have 3 subnets. Now still I have not done subnet associations under root tables. I will explain that during the time. Then peering connections are there, security groups, which is called firewalls, and the network ACLs are there. And VPN you cannot do lab directly because you need to have a hardware for that. Then transit gateways. Yeah. So this is all about VPC. We will have around 3 to 4 sessions in VPC itself. See, if you are not clear anywhere while creating the lab, just refer to the video again, try to create this lab. So this is very important. VPC is very, very important. So we were at root table, August 1st root table, right? So we modified our route to accept the external traffic as well through internet gateway. So till here we have completed. So now what we have done, so we have created route tables, we have created routes. Now you need to tell the direction, right? To which direction you should create. You need to associate the subnet 1, subnet 2 and subnet 3. So go to the subnet associations, click on edit subnet association. So now if you see here, subnets associated, no subnets are selected here. So click on the subnets, all the 3 subnets and click on save. Now the subnets are associated with that particular route table. Clear?
Yeah,
Sorry, Hari, somehow I missed it. Can you just say it again?
Yeah. So after creating a route table, now you have created August 1st route table main, right? Under this route table, you need to associate subnets. Means you are telling this route, say for example, if you are putting a route here, so this route, it is connecting to 3 subnets. Now I connected 3 subnets, subnet 1, subnet 2 and subnet 3. So that's what I did here technically. Click on subnet associations, click on edit subnet. So initially these were not there. So then select all the 3 subnets which you need to associate to this route table, August 1st route table main, and click on save. So once you save, then you can see all the subnets are associated with that particular route table. Now you can tell, say for example, if you launch EC2 instance here, I can access that EC2 mission from my laptop till to here. Clear? Or if you are launching EC2 here, I can directly access from external network. If you're launching from here, I can access from here.
Yeah, one question, Harish. Kiran here.
Yeah.
So actually, we have created VPC, and under that, the 3 subnets are there.
Yeah.
What about the connectivity between subnet 1 and 2? It will be there by default, or we need to explicitly mention?
So we mentioned here, right? Under route table, if you go to the RT route table, if you go and see the routes, you have specified here. For the entire private network, this is the only route. So these
Okay.
private network IPv4 range, right? For the entire network, this is the route. So any
So
private communication.
Sorry, to interrupt. Did we mention this or by default it came?
No, by default it will be there.
Okay. So if I don't want my subnets to be connected together, I can do that also.
Yeah. So let me show you here.
Yeah.
So if you remember, when I told you, when you're creating a VPC, a default route table will be created. So this is your
Yeah.
default route table. Now, if you
Yeah, I
see
remember.
here, there is main. It means the traffic will be routed to this one. So if you see here, this the default route table which it is created by when you are creating VPC, right? So even this also having these routes, means internal private routes are already available, but you are creating a separate route table, main route table, which you are telling already when you are creating a route table. So you will be getting these IP addresses. So on along with that, you are telling I also need to do external communication with the internet gateway. For this, you are associating the subnet 1, 2, and 3. Now, if you create any EC2 server, right? When you are creating EC2 server, you need to select under which availability zone or which subnet you need to create. Now, if you are selecting 1 or 2 or 3, because you created only 3 subnets, only 3 options you will get while creating EC2 server. So when you're, so all the 3 subnets are associated to which table, which we created manually, not the default one. Okay. So
Yes.
any communication, even though if it is not main is no for this, the communication will happen with this route table only. Why? Because all your subnets are associated with this one.
Okay. I can mention the subnets whichever I want to connect to external.
Correct.
It may be 1 or 2, 3.
Correct. Correct.
Thanks.
Questions? Okay. So now go to security groups here. Yeah. So a default security group will be created when you are creating your VPC. So let's go to August 1st. Okay, let us take VPC ID and search with that. So the default security group will be there. So just leave it. So you can create a new security group here. So let me give us August 1st security group. August 1st batch. So description is security group. So VPC, you can select our VPC, whichever we are adding here. So inbound rules and outbound rules are there. Just leave it as it is. I will explain. Will more. Okay, sorry. So you cannot give SG while as a prefix, guys. So you can let us give like this SG. So your security group is created August 1st security group. So go to the details here. Search your security group. So just give the name as same. Now you have inbound rules and outbound rules. So for this class, I will just tell to allow all traffic, because we will have a dedicated session for security groups discussion. I will explain all these inbound and outbound rules during that session. Okay. So inbound rules, what you do is just accept all traffic. So here, if you click add rule, go to the select all traffic, and here anywhere, select anywhere. So make it as my IP. So you will have options like, for example, someone like Kiran has asked a question, right? So can I specify only from external IP? I can allow the traffic and all. So here you can allow all those things like custom IP. You can give a range here. So you need to accept the traffic only from this particular range. So only that particular range traffic will be available. So all those things you can do here. For now, just keep it anywhere. Save the rules. So similarly, go to the external traffic here, external outbound rules. So outbound rules is nothing but the traffic which is going from inside to outside. So it is already all traffic. So just leave as it is. So now the security groups is also created. So what is next thing? So next thing is we need to check our setup, right? So we have created VPC. After VPC, we created subnets. Then we have created internet gateways. Then we have different, routes mapped to the subnets and internet gateways. Then we created security groups to allow the traffic inside from outside. So we need to test this, whether this actual setup is working fine or not. So what we'll do is we'll create a EC2 instance in subnet 2 and subnet 1. We will see whether this from external we are able to access this EC2 instance, and from external we are able to access this too, and from internal whether these both are able to communicate to each other. So this is what the test for this lab. So this is what the lab you are created. So for this lab, you need to test this lab, right? See, every session, guys, from today onwards, it will be practical sessions. Almost 80 to 90% of the sessions from now will be practical, no theory sessions like yesterday. So all the sessions will be practical. So after creating this lab, I'll be giving a lab like this, and you need to test. What exactly you need to test? Now here, create 2 EC2 instances, one in subnet 1 and second one in subnet 2. Log into both the machines. First one is log into both the machines.
Harish, will we be able to log into those missions which we are going to create those EC2 instances?
Yeah, that's what we are doing, right? So we should be able to log that, because that's why we created internet gateway. See, whatever the VPC we created, it will be a virtual private cloud. Okay.
So you mean to say by default the public IP will be assigned to that?
Yeah, we will assign while creating EC2 instance. We will assign the public IP address. I will show you in tomorrow's session, because in today's session it's already 11:07. It will be.
I think
yeah.
if you can show that, we can continue the lab properly, I think.
Yeah. So see, it'll take time to launch all the EC2 instances and show. We cannot cover in today's session. So tomorrow's session, what we'll do, we will test this lab. We launch one EC2 instances in subnet 1, one in subnet 2, log into both the missions with SSH. Then you ping, SSH from mission 1 to mission 2. And third one is do a ping from mission 1 to, let's say, external google.com. And similarly, ping from mission 2 to some external website. Okay, so this is the test what you need to do after creating this lab. Clear? So this we will do in tomorrow session, and after this we will see how to create endpoints and other things.
Yeah, fine.
Yeah. I will just keep this one lab notes also, guys. So what I will do is today I'll take a snapshot of the participants who attended. So I will send you this video on yesterday's recording video through Drive link, Google Drive. And I'll keep these lab notes. You can refer these lab notes in the Drive, and you can download the videos from the Drive, and you can refer the videos. Okay, before tomorrow's session, everyone try to create your AWS free tier account. After creating a free tier account, do this lab, create a VPC, create a subnets, create internet gateway, create root tables, create security groups. Don't if you're aware of AWS and if you have experience, you try to launch the missions, EC2 missions, and try to test them. If you are not aware, just wait till tomorrow's session. Clear?
One last doubt. Yeah, clear. One last doubt, Haris. So after creating, we need to destroy also, or after some time,
No.
after testing.
See, you no need to destroy anything from here. So whatever we created today is free of cost. VPC, subnets, root tables, internet gateways, or security groups will not cost you anything. Don't delete after you create whatever it is there. I will specifically mention which is chargeable and which is free. Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, EC2 instances, when you're launching, you should destroy them. I mean, you should terminate them. So because they are chargeable, even though if you are using free tier account, when you're doing the lab like load balancers, you need to launch 3 missions, 4 missions at a time. Then your free tier account will get reduced, right? You will get only 750 hours per month. So if you're launching 4 instances, so it will be reduced. So you terminate your EC2 instances after the lab, but these are not chargeable. These are free. VPC, subnets, they will not charge you anything for your free tier account, or even if it is professional account, they will not charge.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah. So any queries? Any other queries? Okay, I will shortly share within half an hour or 1 hour. I'll be sharing these videos and yesterday's videos along with the lab notes. Try to create the free tier account and try to create this VPC lab. Okay. Thanks, guys. Thanks for joining.